stand up. Okay, let's do us a little taller. That's so sad. Is that better? Alright. So I was noticing that it is so hard to find a good crew these days. I keep having to remind them that first we rape, then we pillage, then we burn. So folks, my girlfriend Lisa is here. She came all the way from New York. It's her first trip to Kansas ever. So on the count of three, can we please give her a hearty Camp Gaea welcome, Lisa? 1, 2, 3. So the other day she called me. She'd been sitting on the couch with her 13-year-old daughter watching the Scrubs musical. And the song came on with JD and Tucker. It's Just Guy Love. And her daughter commented in the middle of the musical, "You know, those two guys are so far back in the closet they found Narnia." We were stumbling drunkenly through camp about 4 in the morning last night, and I noticed it's way too quiet at camp for 4 in the morning on Saturday. And her reply was, it's because they stole Mary Ellen's bullhorn. Yeah! So I've always wondered, why doesn't Hallmark make an Oops, I Fucked Up card? You know, when I ding a car in the parking lot, I can pull one out of the glove box, oops, I fucked up. When I run over the neighbor's car, or the neighbor's dog, oops, I fucked up. When I back out of the driveway and hit a baby in the carriage, oops, I fucked up. I've always also wondered, why is it when you become an adult, they look at you so strange when you say you have an imaginary friend, unless your imaginary friend is Jesus? Thank you. They try to lynch me in the real world when I tell that joke. So my sister showed up at one of my acts the other day, and I got on stage and told them, this is my sister, and I taught her everything she knew. Except then I realized I hadn't, because if that were true, she'd be better giving a blowjob. Then everybody wonders, well, what's your sexuality? Are you bi? Are you gay? No, my sexuality is yes. And sometimes no, because here at camp we all know no doesn't always mean no, and the safe word is taco. I was driving down the street the other day and I saw a van for sale, and on the back it said, for sale, $350, $300 if you'll steal my neighbor's cat. So some of you knew my ex-girlfriend, Livy. We broke up a couple years ago, and she sent me a breakup email. And in our breakup email, it said, I thought everything would change when you got this new job. I didn't realize it was just more money for you to spend on booze and drugs. My reply was, that's not true. I bought PlayStation games, too. So my friend Uno's out at camp. A lot of people know Uno, but they don't all know that he's called Uno because he has one ball. I like to call him Lefty. I threw something at him the other day and accidentally hit him in the crotch. The next thing I knew, he was rolling around the living room floor going, ow, my ball, ow, my ball. Went to help his wife change a tire the other day. One of my friends is standing there holding the lug nuts, and he looks down and says, John, I think we have an extra nut. And his wife chimed in, that's something you'll never hear my husband say. I was over at my friend Liz and Kenzie's house the other day. We're all passing the ball. One of my friends who usually smokes with us is passing. No, I don't want it. Well, what's wrong? I have an interview tomorrow, and I might have to take a drug test. I need my pee to be clean. And Liz, as she's hitting the ball, pauses and says, you can use my pee. A little while later, she's sitting there looking at her boyfriend, and she's, man, I'm so fucked up now, I can't function. He says, well, even when you're not fucked up, you can't function normally. And she looked at him and said, go fuck yourself, and bless his heart without missing a beat. He said, if I could do that, I wouldn't need you. Hey, Arian, where are you? Oh, she's right there. Do we all know Arian? I went to her house to drink rum the other day. She's sitting on the couch, 3 sheets to the wind with her roommate. She looks up and says, oh, little John's here. I gotta go get in the shower and shave. I've got hair in all my odd ball places. And he looked at her and looked at me and said, dude, she just said she has hairy balls. Dude, she just offered to shave her balls for you. The next morning, I get up, I walk in the living room, and her son is wrapped in a blanket, hopping through the living room, going, ee, ee, ee. So I stop and look at him. What are you doing? I'm pretending I'm a sack of potatoes. Now, in what world is your kid's imagination so dull that they have to pretend to be a sack of potatoes? And in what world does a sack of potatoes go, ee, ee? Where's Henry? Over there. I got a great friend. He's my Tolkien black friend named Henry Robinson. Now, I had friends growing up that were black who would have killed for a solid name like Henry Robinson, but I meet him, he says, no, 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 you call me Ahim. It's spelled Aflem. If you want his attention from across the room, you have to spit a loogie. Now, I love this man. I use him to validate my racist jokes. Because I tell them to him first, and he looks at me and says, oh no, don't tell that on stage, they'll stab you. One of the ones he approved of. I got a phone call a few months ago because my 6-year-old daughter had signed me up for something at school. Now I'm thinking I gotta bake something for the bake sale or show up to some night. No. I've been signed up for the father's basketball team for an inner city KCMO school. They just hold the ball here and there's nothing I can do. I get home realizing I'm horrid at this sport. My mother looks at me and says, well, why don't you go visit your sister? You know she's in theater. She can put you in blackface. Maybe it'll give you some skill. So a lot of people do ask me, just how short are you? And I say, I'm 5'2"3/4. They all ask, well, why the 3/4? Well, because when you're that far away from being one of the little people, every 1/4 inch matters. It's just like a white guy saying he's 6 1/4, because when you're that far away from being a black guy, every 1/4 inch matters. So when we were growing up, they always told us we could be anything we wanted to be. Well, I always wanted to be an action archaeologist or a space pirate. Well, a few months ago, my dad came to me and said, son, it's time you found a more reliable career path, something more realistic. I said, but Dad, you always told me. He says, I know what we told you, but it's time you realized you'll never be Harrison Ford. So I looked at him and said, I'm going to try my hand at stand-up comedy. And he looked at me long and hard, and he says, well, you're short, you're blonde, you're annoying as fuck. I think David Spade is a reliable choice. So I heard something on the radio the other day that made me race home. I laid on the floor and hollered at my kids, you each grab an arm, you each grab a leg and pull. Why are we doing this, Dad? Because I just heard that we lose 6 inches as we get older. If you don't pull hard, pretty soon I will be one of the little people. So I bought this lovely new suit a few weeks ago, and I was telling Mark at his house about it. We're having a conversation because, of course, nothing fits me. So I have to go get this altered. And my mom had sent me up the street. She said, you have to go visit my tailor, Maxine. Well, I get there, and lo and behold, Maxine is a little bitty 80-year-old Korean woman. Which first begs the question, why are all the best tailors little, ancient Korean women or little, tiny Korean kids? I love that noise. Now, true story, I walk in. She takes one look at me in the suit, spins to the back and hollers, my Lee, quick bring heavy-duty kit and extra pin. Must fit little man in real man suit. Now, Mark looks at me and says, oh my God, a little Korean lady and a little Korean girl. When I was in Germany in the army, we used to have to go to this building down in the basement to the back, and there was a little room with a little Korean lady and a little Korean girl who did all our altering. I said, oh my God, when I was in the army in Fort Sill in Oklahoma, we had to go to this building down in the basement, this little room in the back with a little Korean woman and a little Korean girl who did all our tailoring. Do you suppose maybe she does all of it? I said, oh, maybe she's jumping through a mirror. He says, no. She's got a phone booth in her bedroom. She's the Korean Doctor Who. And before I leave you all, we all know Jinda, our wonderful Jinda, who reminded us recently that Cheez-Its is Lord. A couple months ago at camp, drunken with Jinda and Ree, down by the hall, Jinda looks at us and tells us a story about going to Walmart down in Bonner. And he was at Walmart late at night, and all his purchases get rung up, and he has swiped his card, and the woman leans over, and that poor woman says, sir, I'm sorry, but your card didn't take. And he leaned over and said, madam, neither did my Christian upbringing. Thank you all.